Welcome back, everyone, to our Carflux TV, where we dive into the fascinating and sometimes the challenging world of aviation. Today, we're talking about an incident that really hit the headlines this week, a truly frightening collision at a small airport in Pennsylvania that, honestly, could have been so much worse.
Yeah, Talia, it's one of those stories that makes you just hold your breath. An airplane pilot died after a really violent collision with a Pennsylvania State Police helicopter near a runway. But here's the thing, the two state troopers aboard that helicopter survived. It's just incredible, isn't it?
Absolutely incredible, Bo. My heart immediately went out to everyone involved, especially the family of the pilot who lost their life. But then you hear about these two troopers trapped, one pushing out a window and helping the other out. That's just a testament to their training, their resilience, and honestly, a bit of luck.
It really is a testament. And when you look at the details, Lieutenant Colonel George Bivens, the state's acting police commissioner, described it as a very violent crash. He said the plane was cut into a lot of pieces, which just paints such a vivid, devastating picture of the impact. The fact anyone walked away from that, let alone two people, is astonishing.
That description, Mason, really stuck with me too. Cut into a lot of pieces. It drives home the sheer force involved. So let's break down what we know. The incident happened near Carlisle, about 110 miles northwest of Philadelphia, involving a Bell 407 helicopter and a Cessna 150 aircraft. The Cessna apparently is often used as a trainer aircraft, which, adds another layer to this.
Right, and the context of the helicopter being a Bell 407 from the police's elite aviation unit, and they were performing a training exercise. So you have two aircraft, both potentially involved in some form of training or routine operation, converging like that. It's a nightmare scenario that aviation professionals train to avoid at all costs.
And the initial reports are a little hazy on the exact moment of impact. The FAA and NTSB are calling it a mid-air collision, but state police haven't clarified if the plane was actually off the ground when it hit the helicopter. It was described as the plane coming down on the runway and veering into the helicopter, which was near the ground. That distinction might seem small, but for the investigation, I imagine it's huge.
Oh, it's absolutely crucial, Naledi. If the plane was still airborne but very low, that's one set of variables. If it had touched down and then veered, that's another entirely. It points to different potential causes, whether it's control issues, pilot error, mechanical failure, or even something like ground traffic control or communication issues. The NTSB will be looking at every single angle, you can be sure of that.
And let's not forget the incredible bravery of those helicopter pilots. They were trapped, right? Bivens mentioned one pushed out a window and then helped the other out. In that moment of chaos and adrenaline, to have the presence of mind to do that, to help your colleague, it's truly remarkable. They're stable now, which is just the best news we could ask for, given everything.
Seriously, that's real heroism under extreme pressure. It speaks volumes about the training these elite units go through. They're prepared for emergencies, but a crash landing? A direct collision? That's a whole different level of prepared. And to be able to then assist your partner while injured and disoriented, I can't even imagine the mental fortitude that would require.
Governor Josh Shapiro put it perfectly when he said, "Tonight could have been much worse. Tonight could have been much more tragic for our state police family." And he's right. When you see photos and videos on social media, with the helicopter on its side, the debris scattered, it just looks like a scene of utter devastation. For two people to walk away from that, albeit injured, is nothing short of a miracle.
It certainly underlines the inherent risks in aviation, even with all the safety protocols and advancements. Small airports especially can have unique challenges. You often have a mix of experienced pilots, student pilots, different types of aircraft, and varied levels of air traffic control, or sometimes even no tower control at all, relying purely on see and avoid rules and radio communication. We don't know the specifics here yet, but it's definitely something the investigators will scrutinize.
That's a really good point, Mason. The dynamic at smaller, uncontrolled or partially controlled fields can be very different from major international hubs. It requires an immense amount of situational awareness from every pilot. And when you're talking about a Cessna 150, typically a trainer aircraft, it makes you wonder about the experience level of the pilot involved, although we won't know for sure until the investigation concludes and the information is released.
And that's the thing, isn't it? The NTSB and FAA are just beginning their work. They'll be looking at everything. Flight paths, radio communications, maintenance records for both aircraft, weather conditions, visibility, human factors, even the configuration of the airport itself. Every single detail will be meticulously examined to piece together exactly what led to this tragedy.
It's a huge undertaking. And part of that investigation, as Lieutenant Colonel Bivens mentioned, will be confirming if the pilot of the Cessna was the only person on board. That's a grim but necessary part of understanding the full scope of the incident. It's hard not to think about the families waiting for answers, for any information at all.
Exactly. They'll use everything from wreckage analysis to flight data recorders if available, and any eyewitness accounts. The goal isn't just to assign blame, but primarily to understand what went wrong to prevent similar incidents in the future. Every crash, no matter how tragic, provides critical data that feeds back into improving aviation safety standards.
It's a reminder of how complex and interconnected aviation truly is. One small error or mechanical failure can cascade into something catastrophic, and we often forget about the sheer amount of training and coordination that goes into every single flight, from a tiny Cessna to a jumbo jet.
Totally. Think about the police aviation unit. They're not just flying around, they're often involved in critical missions, search and rescue, surveillance, transporting personnel. They operate in challenging environments, often at low altitudes, sometimes at night. Their training has to be absolutely top-notch, and clearly it was, in this case, enough to save their lives.
And it also highlights the incredible professionalism of first responders. The images show a whole line of emergency vehicles converging on the scene. The quick action of fire, medical, and law enforcement personnel on the ground would have been crucial, not just for the immediate rescue, but for securing the scene and supporting the investigation.
That rapid response is a critical layer of defense, too. You can prevent some things, but when an incident does occur, minimizing the damage and saving lives often comes down to how quickly and effectively emergency services can react. And it seems like in Carlisle they were on it.
So, as we wait for more details from the NTSB and FAA, which could take months or even over a year, what do you think is the biggest takeaway for general aviation, especially at smaller airports?
I think it's a stark reminder of the see and avoid principle and the critical importance of clear communication, even when you're not in a controlled airspace. Pilots need to be constantly vigilant, scanning for other traffic, and making their intentions known. Complacency simply isn't an option when you're operating an aircraft.
For me, it's the human element. The tragedy of the loss of life, but also the extraordinary resilience and courage of those two troopers. It's a reminder that behind every uniform, every cockpit, there's a person, and their training and their will to survive can truly make a difference in the direst circumstances.
And from an investigative standpoint, it's about pushing boundaries. Every incident, even one as devastating as this, offers lessons. How can we improve technology, procedures, or training to make these types of collisions even rarer? It's a continuous cycle of learning and adaptation that drives aviation safety forward.
Absolutely. It's a sobering incident that underscores the constant pursuit of safety in the skies. Our thoughts are with everyone affected by this tragic event. We'll continue to follow the investigation and bring you updates as they become available. Thank you, Bo, Naledi, and Mason for your insights today.
Thanks, Talia.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
And to our listeners, thank you for joining us on our Carflux TV. Stay safe, and we'll catch you next time.